What's going on, y'all? It is Geoffrey, and we are back with some more Fire Emblem Maniac Mode on the last part.
No!
And that really just says it all, doesn't it? The only good thing to come out of the last part was the fact that we finally got to put Patrina in her place. Aside from that, we lost Nasir, so that's pretty great. Wondering what's going to happen with that. Now, of course, I know what's going to happen with that, but we got to keep the viewers in suspense and all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and do Chapter 24 as soon as my controller reconnects here. Gotta say, going through this game again has been a lot more fun than I would think a replay would be. I'm still finding enjoyment out of the story. It's been very fun for these last few parts. Just because I guess I don't really remember the endgame as well as I thought maybe I would. But I'm noticing a lot of details that I didn't notice before, and it's really surprising, I'll be honest. Hold on. There we go. The Crimean army defeats General Patrine, one of King Ashnard's four riders, and finally arrives home. The princess's return is met with the jubilation and tears of the retainers who have managed to survive. All three of them. As long as we have Princess Olyncia, Crimea will be liberated. These are the words that gave the people hope as they endured the harsh rule of a conquering country. The silent masses who long for the restoration of their homeland slowly begin to give voice to their dream. Surely, they think, this chance to see Crimea freed will not be wasted. This chance to see Crimea. A little bit of a Shatner kind of take on this. For Chapter 24, Battle Reunion. I think I remember this one. We'll have to see the map. Yup, I remember this one. Okay, so we're kind of on a time limit. It doesn't tell you that, but trust me, you are. Now, where is this exactly? Delbray Castle, okay. I like that they give names to less significant areas. It kind of makes the world feel more real. So here's Geoffrey. Can it be? There is no mistake in my words. The princess has returned to Crimea. Lady Lucia serves as her guide. They should be on their way here as we speak. How long has it been since we've seen the princess? We have been living for the day where we steal the eyes from Dayan's army and bring her home, and now it has come. Indeed, for His Majesty, for the Queen, and for Crown Prince Renning as well. We must act as one and support our beloved Princess Olyncia. Yes, if all goes well, our dearest wish will soon come to fulfillment. There is no time to wait. If we wish to properly greet the princess and her retinue, there is much to be done. Right, let's let everyone know. We must divide the tasks and begin preparation for a feast at once. And flowers must be prepared for the princess's chamber. Oh, we mustn't forget the music and entertainment either. Getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, guys. We still have a war to fight. Jeez. I suppose I shall have to polish the silver tableware I was hiding too. You possess such refined things. I figured a rustic boor like you would have sold them for a lamb shank. I received the silver from His Majesty when I was awarded my knighthood. I've been saving it for just such an occasion. Well done. Get ready. We are going to be very, very busy. Haha. Oh, what a fantastic day this will be. Debatable. The Crimean retainers are waiting for us at this Castle Delbray. Yes, in your absence, Princess, we used the cellars beneath the castle as a secret meeting place. It is from there that we contacted the retainers who are hiding throughout this land. And no one was discovered? What are the chances of that? We disguised ourselves as merchants or peasants, and Dayan looked right past us. Their arrogance is without equal. However, now that we've heard of your return, we are bringing out our hidden Crimean armor and polishing away. Merchants? Oh, Geoffrey is one... Geoffrey. It's Geoffrey. I'm aware that it's Geoffrey. It's one of those things, if you say something your entire life one way, and then you find out it's actually said a different way, kind of throws you for a loop. Geoffrey is one thing, but I cannot imagine Bastion as a shopkeeper. Me neither. No one could. That's why he dressed as a street performer. Yep, that's about right. Now that I can see. I'm sure it suited him perfectly. Did he juggle and gamble about? Hee. And Geoffrey, never have you seen a merchant with such perfect posture. That sounds just like him. We'll learn more about those two eventually. In fact, I think we find out more about Geoffrey in this map, right? Princess Olyncia seems to be having a wonderful time. She's been smiling and laughing for hours. It seems she and Lucia grew up together. She feels completely at ease around her. The princess seemed to be of good cheer. Very medieval. Not a phrase you would see very often these days. The princess seemed to be of good cheer when she was with us as well, but I suppose she was putting on a brave face. When I see her in this light, I'm reminded that she's still only a young woman. What we see now is the princess as she was before Dayan's attack. That is the true Princess Elincia. It's good to be home, isn't it? We've still many battles ahead, but for tonight we should relax and let ourselves forget our cares. Really, we only have about 4 more battles, Vinolf. No one can continue under this much stress forever, right? I suppose you're right. True. Aye, Marcia is the best, we all know. Thank you, Soren. Info, let's talk to friend. Marcia is a friend indeed. There. Hiding in the shadows of that tent. Grab him. Huh? What? Hey, ouch, come on, you gotta let me go. Fuck Makalov. Stop whining, you little baby. Get over here. You spineless sop, you never learn, do you? What's going on? Listen to this, Ike. While I was changing my clothes, my dear brother here tried stealing from my purse again. Don't do this here. You don't need to tell the whole camp about it, do you? God, he's really just scum. He's actually the worst. I have not done a good job of using Makalov at all. Maybe I should do something about that. I don't know. I just don't like him. At all. And it's like, if I'm gonna choose between him or the 20 other characters that I've been rotating in and out, why am I gonna choose Makalov? He's actually the worst. He might be the scummiest Fire Emblem character ever to be. You know? He's just like, ugh, I hate his stupid face. Okay. Enough venting. Let's get back to the story. Who's created the situation in the first place? And here I was thinking that you'd finally turned yourself around. Even as we speak, Mother is at home weeping in her soup, you chowderhead. Marcia. Don't worry about Mom. Dad's there to take care of her. You brainless eunuch. Marcia, ow, my foot. You're crushing it. I heard something crunch and whoops. What do you say? Help, I'm being crippled. And no one cares. Exactly, you tell him. Alright. I think that's enough. Settle down, children. It's one thing that you're a guppy brain lout, but it's worse that you never ever change. You're always being chased by thugs and I always have to go looking for you. Do you have any idea how much I worry? Don't worry too much. I think you'll be okay. Would it hurt you to think of others once in a while? You're my older brother, remember? Marcia. I'm sorry, I'll give up gambling. I'll work hard and repay all my debts. Please, you gotta believe me. For real this time, pinky promise. Fuck this guy. Why not forgive him? He's the only brother you've got, right? Well, if I consist. Really? Do you forgive me? Only if you keep your word. This is the absolute last time. I swear on Dad's grave. Didn't he just say? Hold on. Hold up. This is bothering me now. Yeah, he said, don't worry about Mom. Dad's there to take care of her. Oh, but he's dead. Yeah. I hate him. Oh, wait. What? Oh, no, he's just scum. Excuse me. That's not gonna work, you twit. Dad's still alive. Made you laugh. About time, too. Straighten up and don't trouble your sister anymore. Seriously, she's the one-man army of this crew. We really need her. We need her to be in a good mood. Just take care of Marcia and everything's fine, okay? Say, Marcia. What is it, Makalov? You want to bet on how long I can keep my promise? I'll give you 4-to-1 odds. Oh, God damn it, Makalov. Okay. So that was a thing. You know, I kind of want to try to promote Soren. Just because I would like to have another healer of some kind. I think he starts with Ian stabs, which is not very good. But he has 20 magics, so there's that. Even his heal staffs will be kind of useful. Oh, I can't quite make it, but you know what? I'm going to dump the rest of it into Sword anyways. And then I'm going to try to get him a level up on the next map itself. And that should put him over. I already gave him a heal staff just so that when the time is right, he'll be able to jump right in. What else can we do? My weapons are looking kind of pathetic at this point, not gonna lie. Well, wait. That's not true, though. My army has no pathetic weapons. But it does have the unstoppable Exodia! Yeah, you might say that was a long way to go for that joke, but you know what? No regrets. Let's make it red. I guess orange would have been a better color, but let's give that to Marcia because she needs something with 1 to 2 range, I think. Yeah, that should be good. Because you just know I'm gonna need it. I guess I could use the spear as well. Maybe that was a waste. Nah, no regrets. Oh, I also have this talisman. Who wants the talisman? Let's just give it to Mars. Like, let's just continue along this path. Let's just continue along this path that I've chosen. And just give everything to Marcia. Hasn't backfired yet, so there you go. Now she has 20 resistance with 19 defense. It's weird that she had more defense than resistance, actually. Even though I suppose I did give her quite a few Draco shields, it's still not something you would usually see, right? Oh, I'm almost out of steel lances. Let's fix that. No. I can buy silver axes here. Oh, I should have been checking that. Oh, and I can buy silver bows as well. But Astra doesn't have A in bows, does she? Nope, she only has B. I still kind of want to buy a silver bow. No. Yes. Let's buy a silver bow. And like 2 or 3 silver axes. Probably even more than that, honestly. That might be overkill, kind of, but I think we'll be just fine. Titania definitely wants them, and Boyd definitely wants them as well. I think Boyd can use them, right? No, really? Huh. Oh yeah, Boyd can use bows now. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but... I mean, really... It's kind of irrelevant, I'll be honest. These silver axes, though, are going to be great. Alright, I think we're good to go. Let's do it. Chapter 24. So, I seem to remember that, well, I guess I can talk about that when the map starts. Today's the day the happy... Whoa. Today's the day, the happiest of days. No, today's the day the princess returns, yet the goddess sees fit to bring rain. An ill omen for sure. Calm rain is like a kiss upon the face, a scent and feel unparalleled in kind. Reunions in the rain are most heartfelt. Say, Bastion, how far do you suppose the princess and her escort have come? Why aren't they here yet? And why is my controller keep doing this? God damn it. There we go. Listen, friend. You have asked me the same question 58 times, and I have responded 57 times. But now 58 comes anon. You need to calm yourself. I know, but it is only a little while longer. Make no mistake, our princess will arrive today. I understand your impatience, I really do. But you're the general of our little army. If you act so, the men will react in kind. You're right. A true knight is the essence of composure. Take a deep breath. Breathe in and out. Woo! Woo! See? Don't you feel better? Blast, it's no good. I'm gonna go, check on stuff. Is that a euphemism? What am I supposed to do with him? Nice day for a stroll. Cool, relaxing rain. They're here, I see them. What? Really? That's them, isn't it? The princess's army? With their black and red armor. Where? Show me where you're looking. Geoffrey, that's not the princess. Those are day-in troops. Ah, damn it. What? No, please tell me you're joking. Yeah, you'd think you'd be able to recognize their flag, right? Well, I guess technically you don't see the flag, but it's probably there. And also the whole red and black armor thing, you know? Kind of a dead giveaway, but it's raining. I guess we can let that pass, right? Once we cross the hills, we'll be in Delbray territory. Count Bastion went on ahead of us, so they should know of your return by now. Speaking of which, here he comes now. Oh, I suppose he couldn't wait any longer and came riding to meet you. How sweet. Princess Alencia, Lady Lucia.
Bastion, there's no need for you to rush so. I'm coming in your direction anyways.
We've been attacked. We've been attacked. Castle Delbray is surrounded by enemy troops.
No, it can't be.
Geoffrey's acting as a decoy. You must continue on this road to the southwest.
So the enemy's found us, huh? Nothing to do about it but change course. I'll lead you to another hiding place. What are you saying, Lucia? We must help Geoffrey.
Bastion? See, there it is again. Geoffrey.
Luck was not with us, Princess. We have no choice. We'll have to abandon our companions at Castle Delbray. No, we will not. Geoffrey and the others have survived so much already. I will not abandon them. Princess, please understand. If we could do so without danger to you, we would gladly risk our lives to go back. We cannot do this. Please, Lucia, we must go to the castle. Bastion, you must not do this thing.
Geoffrey is a knight. In the name of our friend's honor, Princess, you must escape.
No, they survived this long. They're alive. No!
She's very, very distraught. General Ike, we don't have much time.
Sorry about that. While we stand here squabbling, Dayan scouts may spot our position. Please move the army southwest on this road.
No. What?
Pardon? What did you say?
We're going to the castle. If it's surrounded by Dayan troops, we cut our way through and join the other knights. Understood?
Weren't you listening? I said we had no choice but to leave them behind. They were lost to us the moment the enemy discovered and surrounded them.
You really don't understand how this works, Lucia.
No, it's just common sense, like...
They're not so lost that we can't take them back.
You're the general of Crimea's army, are you not? Even if only for the moment? What the hell are you on about? I would hope that you would act more in accordance with your responsibilities.
I didn't choose or ask to be general. I was put here by matters of time and circumstances. In other words, my army, my rules. But as a mercenary, I have a contract with Princess Alencia that's still in effect. That means she's my employer. And right now my employer says she wants to go and save the people stuck in the castle. Is that correct, Alencia?
Yes, I don't want anyone else to be sacrificed.
So we're going to help them. If you're so worried about the princess, I'll leave her here with you, and you can keep her safe.
My lord,
Until the princess's army is out of sight, we must not let the enemy spot them. Do what you must to draw their attention. Yes, sir. Oh boy, a rescue mission. Woo! Oh, is that all? Honestly, this could be a lot worse. This could be a lot worse. One moment. They're coming into view. Combat formations. Okay, it just got a lot worse. We can only bring 10 people. Oh, 11 people. Well, that's no good. What? I kind of want to bring Boyd because he's been putting in the finest of work as of late, I must admit. Marcia and Titania are mandatory at this point in the game. Jill wouldn't be bad. Braum does okay. Braum is just okay, though. Maybe we let him sit in this one out. I really want to level up Soren. I really want to get another level for Soren. That might do the trick, I think, actually. So the biggest problem I'm seeing is this cluster of units here. It looks like this map has just arrived, though, so anybody getting into this point should win me the map. So what I think I'm going to do is have Marcia beeline for the objective. I know, shocker. Big shocker. But to do that, I'm going to have to get rid of all of these guys, which is going to be easier said than done. Good thing I forged that javelin that I can now break in one map, huh? What else do we got? We got a sage here, but he doesn't have a siege tome, which is interesting. Normally you would expect him to have a siege tome. Looks like 2 villages to hit. I guess Marcia can clear the way, and then Jill can fly over and hit this one. I think that should work. I think that should work, right? And then basically everybody else can hole up down here while Marcia makes her way over to the... Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Let's position ourselves to do that. Let's go ahead and try something like this. Oh, Ricard, huh? These Crimean refugees are no easy meat, and there are more of them than I expected. General Ricard, enemy reinforcements are approaching from the east. What? It appears to be troops from Princess Crimea's army. The army that brushed aside our troops in Dayan and defeated General Petrine at the Reven Bridge. They're marching towards us. Oh my god, we're all gonna die. Oh no, he's actually excited about this. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what we're capable of. Okay, he says, fantastic. I was getting bored of hunting stragglers. Let's smash all of these curs and wrap ourselves in glory. Yes, we'll be the ones. Okay, whatever you say, man. The General Geoffrey. It's the... Geoffrey. The General Geoffrey. It's the Crimean army. Princess Alencia's army is headed this way. Fools, what are you thinking, Bastion? Oh, princess, it's not too late. Please take wing and flee. Psh, run away from a fight? Ike? Never. Our goal is to rescue those knights near the castle. Attack! Let go. Let's try this one once more. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time. I'm going to rescue Marcia. I don't really see another way to do this. Mostly because if I leave Geoffrey alone, right, he's going to get destroyed. There's really no two ways about it. Hopefully a good level up. Strength, magic, speed, luck. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. More magic there means that I have greater staff range, which is great. We're going to go in the same way, but this time I'm going to make sure that I have a backup 2 range option just in case. Well, not even just in case. I'm going to break this spear. Exodia is going to get obliterated within this one map. There's no doubt in my mind. I want to take out this guy because he has a pretty realistic shot of hitting me. Comparatively, of course. Ah, no adept. No adept. That's a bummer. But let's look at Geoffrey real quick. So he has some pretty good defense. Not terrible statistically, but this. So if I don't distract these enemies right here from charging him head on, he's gonna die. And I really don't want that to happen. So that's the logic behind sending Marcia head into the action like that. Not Zahar. Jesus! I'll never get it. I'll never get it. With Stefan, I don't want to move into range of the Paladins, but I do want to have him draw these 2 warriors. So you'll chill like right about there. Braum can move right here to protect Mist, obviously. Equip the Wind Spear. I still don't think he does a lot of damage, does he? He does like almost no damage. Yeah, he'll deal a whopping 11 damage on retaliation, but that's my best option, really. And with Titania, I don't know that I want to draw these guys immediately. That seems like that could be very dangerous. Yeah, I can't even one-round this guy. That's crazy. That's almost unthinkable. I still have to go for this, though. I don't really have an alternative move. Not at all. And with Titania, I'm going to gut it for that northern village. Now, I'm not really worried about drawing the Wyvern Lords with Titania so much as I'm worried about drawing them south. Because taking on all of them... basically, if I draw them south, I have to kill all of them. Because they'll be too mobile. They'll weave in and out of my front lines and stuff like that, and it'll be annoying. Don't really want to deal with that. But if I draw them to the north where they can't really... Why did I attack this guy at close range like this? I got bailed out. Not gonna lie, I wasn't in my right mind when I made that move. What I was saying though is if I draw the Wyvern Lords to the north, it doesn't really matter how long it takes me to cut through them because it's basically irrelevant. Titania will never die. But to have them in the south and also potentially have this group of Wyvern Lords to the south and also these Paladins in the south, it would be bad because I would then be forced to kill them all in one round, and I don't know that I can do that. With Jill, she should be good to move in a little bit. I don't want her right on the front, but having her nearby shouldn't hurt. And it'll also boost Mist's defense. She is going to have to eat a ballista shot. It's not really going to matter. But it is something to think about. I'll also move Ike there. He might, keyword might be the target here. Actually, he should be the target here. Which would be the preferable outcome, actually. I brought Astrid along because she can snipe the Wyvern Lords pretty nicely. Still has 4 uses of that forge. So we'll move in like so. Khalil also going to be useful over on this side, I think. I could also bolting, but nah. I may want Khalil on the right-hand side, actually. I don't know. It's pretty sketchy. It's looking a little bit lacking on this side. And I'm not really sure where the Sword Masters are going to go. If they tend to the left, we'd be okay. But if they tend to the right, I might want Khalil over here. I don't know. Can I take a pot shot? I might be able to. No, I can't. And I'm dumb. I forgot to bring the Night Ring. Why? Why didn't I bring the Night Ring? Yeah, I guess we'll just move Khalil in a little bit. She can help out with the Wyvern Lords if I need her to. So now the Ballista are going to start shooting. We're going to see that one, and this guy's going to shoot Mist, but it's going to do like 5 because it doesn't use Strength. No, it does 9, excuse me. Wow, 9 whole damage. Jeez Louise. No, they go after Marcia. What, I have a death wish? What's going on? Oh, no. Oh, get destroyed. That's great. That's amazing. So, Stefan does... Okay. Okay. Well, we get Astro, which is nice. I actually was kind of hoping he wouldn't, because if I don't kill these guys with Stefan, Zehark is actually perfectly capable of picking them off, which is why I brought him along in the first place. He's still fast enough to double the warriors, so he's still pretty good. Once that stops happening, though, he's probably going to fall off, unfortunately. And Soren has... Ooh, can't be taking too many of those. Soren has the next claim to the bonus experience because he's so close to promoting, you know? So he's got to be the next one in line. No, they're just going to run straight south, which I guess is fine. I'd almost like Stefan to not do that. Okay. Well, we tried our best. Maybe there'll be something else for Zehark to do, who knows. But now these paladins are all going to charge me, which is annoying to say the least. That's for sure. And Geoffrey's unit's just going to get murdered. They're just going to get murdered. But because I'm going to be distracting 90% of the halberdiers, I think that Geoffrey himself would survive, which is all I actually care about. All I have to do is arrive at the blue tile, and Marcia is going to be making her way over there as soon as possible. She's also got to hit the village, so that's something else to think about, but it shouldn't be too much of a detriment to my overall plan. Good God, Oscar. Yeah, Oscar really is immortal. It's great. You know, he almost feels kind of balanced because although he's never going to die, he's never actually doing anything either. He's kind of like an armor knight in that sense, really. So the first greenie goes down, no surprises there. The halberdier might potentially do something. Like, if they can kill more enemies, more power to them, you know. I'm definitely not opposed to that. I'm not being picky. I'm not really trying to get experience out of this map. I'm just trying to survive. Okay, Marcia. What did I just said, I'm just trying to survive. I didn't say anything about murdering everything in sight, but I guess that's just how she rolls. The annoying thing, though, is if I don't kill them, they're going to heal up. I think the boss had an elixir. Correct me if I'm wrong. So they're just going to take that from him and heal all the way back to full, which is not exactly preferable by any stretch of the imagination, but there's nothing I can really do about it, so I'm just going to have to deal with that when the time comes. Is this going to happen? Is this actually going to happen? I refuse to believe it. She's going to dodge the remaining attacks. That's what I say. Man, I wasn't going to show all this, but this is getting kind of down to the wire here, Marcia. So phew, that guy doesn't even bother to attack me because he's too busy healing, which is good. This guy is going to take a pot shot. Come on, baby. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. This is getting a little bit problematic. Woo! I don't think there's any more 2 range. I don't think there's any more 2 range. I know the boss has some, but I don't believe he's going to attack me. Oh, thank God. Oh, baby. Cutting it a little bit close there. Do I want to use the physic? Or do I need 2 elixir? I wonder. There are less of them to deal with now, and a lot of them are going to heal themselves up. Meaning I'll be taking less attacks. And again, I don't really have to kill them so much as distract them. I only have to distract them. Ooh, reinforcements? Hey, reinforcements. Let's do it.
Lucia, Bastion, are you sure you want to do this?
The words of Ike yet ring on my ears.
We were so trapped by our own ideas that we were unable to sympathize with your feelings. I'm terribly sorry. Because the 2 of you think to put me above all else, you will say you will sacrifice your lives for me. Yet, even if I'm able to borrow of Ike's strength and win back Crimea, if the cost of victory is the lives of you 2, I shall never smile again. And joy, never again would that emotion fill my heart.
Princess Alencia.
Please aid Ike and rescue Geoffrey and the others, then return to me. Come back alive.
For you, we would the world itself depart. You could just say we would die for you. Like, geez, lay off the melodrama, kid.
We'll be back.
They'll be back, alright. Not about to die here. Okay, so we gotta talk about those 2 guys. I want to think about how am I gonna do this? Stefan does not double. Paladin's closing in hot. This isn't looking so good. This isn't looking so good. I guess I'll pull these guys up to distract me from my impending doom. Alright, so here's your boy Bastion. He is not very good. Not very good at all. Just look at those bases for a level 13 Sage. Honestly, outside of strength, I think Soren matches him in just about every department. HP and defense notwithstanding, and that's really saying a lot, considering Soren is level 20 and Bastion is level 13. Not only that, you can see that he also decided to pick up a knife instead of picking up a staff, which makes him a lot worse than he would otherwise be. If he had staffs, he would at least be somewhat redeemable. I kind of wish they would have went that route because Khalil is clearly the better magic user, but she has knives, so they could have sort of balanced that by making Bastion not such a great magic user, but giving him staffs so that he's at least usable. But no, that's not what they did at all. That's not what they did at all. And to top that all off, somebody requested that I use Bastion, so, you know, of course. As for gross, he has 55 hit points, 40 strength, 65 magic, 65 skill, 55 speed, 30 luck, 35 defense, and 50% resistance. His gross are not terrible, however, he only has 7 levels to grow, so he's not really going to get much better than this, unless he rolled like a perfect level up every single time. Even then, his speed would be incredibly underwhelming and not enough to really contribute. So yeah, he's certainly a character. Oh, that's not what we wanted. And his skill is Knives and Corrosion, which is, as we've already covered, pretty much worthless. Never really comes into play. He has A and Wind by default, which is neat, I guess. It's certainly something. Let's go on to our next contestant before I get too depressed about Bastion there. Next up, we have Lucia, a level 12 Swordmaster. Better than Bastion, I guess. Debatably. Maybe not on Maniac. Normally she'd be fast enough to double things, which is at the very least a useful trait. But here those bases, especially that base strength and base defense, leave a whole lot to be desired. I mean, 10 base defense, that leaves her perpetually 2-hit KO'd by the entire game, so that kind of sucks. 15 strength means that she's never really injuring anything. I mean, I like Lucia. I like Bastion too, for that matter. I like these characters, but yeah, I think their bases really speak for themselves. Hit points wise, she has 70% growth, 50% strength, 30% magic, 70% skill, 65% speed, 50% luck, 40% defense, and 40% resistance. So the terrible duo here has pretty good gross, but again, they start at such a high level, you can't really capitalize on them. Even if she hits strength every single time, she'd still only have 23, which isn't... It's not terrible, but the chances of her hitting strength every single time is just that, you know, not very likely. Not a very likely scenario at all. And the rest of her bases don't really do a whole lot for her. She has 23 speed only, and I think... Hold on. And Stefan had more than that 7 chapters ago. And in fact, Stefan is just strictly better than Lucia in every conceivable way. He has less luck, but really, so what? Actually, that's not true. Lucia has one thing going for her over Stefan. She has the Earth Affinity, meaning that if you could manage to raise her support with... I don't know, does she have an Earth support? I think she might, actually. But she gets evasion from her supports, is what I'm getting at, which is a nice trait for sure. She comes with parity, which is actually incredibly counterintuitive for a glass cannon like this who relies entirely on dodging. So, yeah, thanks for that, game. Thanks for that. Nobody asked for Lucia, though, so I'm not going to be using her outside of this chapter right here. And with that distraction out of the way, it's time to take my lumps. Okay, let's see what's going to happen here. I think... Oh, man, they kind of forced my hand here a little bit. I have to fly around the long way, which sucks. Okay, so I have to move my maximum distance. How much does Mist heal for? Do I have to move to heal? I do not have to move to heal, and she heals almost to full. So this being the case, I'm going to hold off on Marcia, actually. I'm going to finish up my business with everyone else first. So we have to think about these Swordmasters, which are absolutely terrifying. If I do this... Ooh, I cannot reach the Swordmasters. That's not good. That is not ideal. How does Astrid do against them? 19 damage. That's a pretty good hit. That's a pretty good hit. Unfortunately, the accuracy leaves a whole lot to be desired. But at this stage, I don't think I see an alternative, so let's go for it. It's looking grim. It's looking grim. So Ike in combination with... No, it's not enough. But Ike with Braum would be enough, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that's what we do. But then I run the risk of drawing these guys. So I can't do that head on. What I should do is move here. And go in with Ike plus Braum. Ike doesn't really need to be on the forest tile. It would be nice, but it's not necessary by any stretch of the imagination. And I think I'm going to have Marcia use the elixir as opposed to getting physicked, because I think I need to heal Braum. Especially because he didn't get defense. Especially because he didn't get defense. Ike, I'm not really concerned with. Should I be using the Brave Sword? No, it's much less accurate here. So we're going to go at this Paladin, hopefully take him out. We honestly might not, and we honestly might take a huge hit. You know, anything could happen. It's like a box of chocolates. You never really know what you're going to get. I really love Fire Emblem. Oh, yes, I do. So with that being the case, honestly, it may be time to start using the Vague Kadi. I do have a Hermern. Oh, and Stefan got hit as well. I forgot about that part. I forgot about that lovely little detail. You know what might not be a horrid idea? What's with this accuracy discrepancy? We're definitely going to do this, because these guys have to die. Oh my god, I love Khalil so much. I love her so much. Thank you. Thank you, sweet Jesus. Okay, that makes things a bit easier now, doesn't it? If that's being the case, we're still not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. I might take Bastion and go for another, to be honest. That might be a worthwhile maneuver. My big fear right now, though, is most certainly Braum. He has 22 defense, so he takes a absolute crap ton, let's say, because we're PG here. He takes too much is kind of what I'm getting at, so he has to be healed. Marcia is going to move on and use an elixir. God, she only has one more use of that spear. That did not last very long at all. Kind of wish I would have given her the boots right about now, ain't even gonna lie. Can I somehow possibly... Well, yeah, actually, if I move Oscar right here, that helps a ton with Braum. Yeah, that helps a ton with Braum because the Paladins become so much more limited. In fact, so much to the point that I'm not sure that I even need to heal him. It's looking like I don't. No, I don't. Right? So 6. That guy is 6. This guy can't reach. Can't reach. A lot, actually. 12, right? Because he has... Where are you? Where are you? 29 minus 22. No, actually 14. So that's 20. Plus 8. So 28. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yes, but if I move Titania in front of this guy, he won't be able to be targeted. Okay. Okay. Maybe I don't move Titania just yet. Maybe Titania hangs out for a little bit. I think that might be the way to go. Because honestly, these enemies are so numerous at this point. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable just moving about willy-nilly. Now, from here, if I attack with Zihar, can I finish with Jill? It might be better to do that in the reverse, though. And more importantly, if I attacked with Zihar. With Stefan. With Stefan, rather. 27. With the Vague Kadi, he has 18. He can take a round. He can take a round. So we'll attack with Jill. Jill first for sure. Yes, this should work out. And then get her out of range of the Paladins. Stefan moves in. Lands the blow. Yes. Yes, yes. Okay, we should be okay. For now. For this one specific turn, we should be okay. Strength, speed, defense. Couldn't ask for a better level up. Couldn't ask for a better level up. And then I should heal Staban, though, regardless. So let's do that. Ooh, woo. Anybody else sweating in here, man? This is a pretty hectic start. This is a hella hectic start. And I feel as though something... I don't know. Are the villagers going to be attacked? That's kind of what's on my mind right now. I feel as though they might be. I mean, so far we're okay. So far we're in the clear, but it just seems to me... Okay, this is never connecting. What is up with the ballista? Do they have 100% accuracy or something? Oh, not only that, but it's just occurred to me that I have triggered the Wyvern Lords. Oi! Okay, what's happening here? That shouldn't be happening. That's better, but... This map is quite ridiculous, I have to say. Okay, we get it. I have bad luck. Say no more. Exodio's obliterated. That's unfortunate, but what is happening? Honest to God, I don't know how to respond to this. This is ridiculous, to be completely truthful. So Brahm's gonna get destroyed. Oh, he dodges. Good, good, good. So there gets rid of any chance of... That kind of eliminates any chance of me doing bad math, essentially. Although, again, I'm not making any progress on these enemies, and that's the bigger issue at hand. It's things like this, which is exactly why I tend to... Look at that, with a forged steel axe, a max forged steel axe, I'm still not one-rounding them. Still not one-rounding them. That's stupid. I don't like that. What I was saying, though, is you can see why I tend to just use Marcia and Titania, because if I don't, then everything becomes so much worse. Everything becomes much, much worse. And now they're getting to the point where even they cannot do enough. Because weakening these guys or not, the fact of the matter is they're still alive, which is the bigger issue. Man, this one is brutal. This one is brutally hard. And I'm kind of undecided on if it's hard for the right reasons or not. I guess that depends on if I win here, huh? No. No, I'm just kidding. I really don't know. Because on one hand, there's definitely an incentive to move quickly, right? Because if you don't, Geoffrey's going to die. He's definitely going to die. Which means you have to creatively get somebody over there. Thank you, Marcia. Please, more of that. Although it might be too late. She might have honestly taken too many hits. On the other hand, these guys should waste my time by healing up rather than actually attacking, so I should be able to sort of sneak by here once more. Or at least I'm hoping. But right. On one hand, you have the fact that you have to move quickly because there's villages at play, there's Geoffrey who can very easily die. On the other hand, it feels like I have to make a leap of faith here because if I don't send Marcia over here, Geoffrey is going to die. It's not a matter of if he may or may not. It's the fact of the matter is getting through that wave of units before they just charge and destroy his entire unit. It's just simply not feasible unless I distract them for a turn or two. Now, that being said, it is entirely possible that they don't just bum rush him. We saw right off the bat that some of the paladins... This is heart-pounding, by the way. It's very hard to keep a flow of commentary going when I'm trying to survive this round. We don't know necessarily that they are going to outright charge Geoffrey. Whew. Oh, now I have my... Yeah, now I have my forge. Now you're screwed. They may very well take the path over the bridge. But is that something that I can really afford to chance, you know? Okay. Is that something I can really afford to chance? Because if they do charge Geoffrey, and I haven't provided them a distraction, I've lost already. I've lost turn one if that's the case. You know what I mean? Oh my fucking god! Please. Oh god. If there ever were a time to dodge. No, the boss doesn't move. The boss doesn't move. Oh, now he moves. Well, fuck me then. Oh, are you kidding me? The boss did not move the first round. I just want to point that out. The boss didn't move the first round. Lesai. I'll come back to that thought. You know what? Once again, I'm just going to throw Titania at my problems. Yup, I knew I should have done that in the first place. This time I can one-round them sometimes, so I don't really care for that being a factor. I really don't care for that being a factor at all. Definitely prefer it in games when enemies just have static stats. Because then you don't have situations like this where it all depends on whether or not the enemy rolls one more point of hit points or not. I'm not going to spend too much time harping on that though. That's just kind of the way old Fire Emblem was, so I can't complain too much, I guess. But I still feel forced into this situation. I did check and it seems to me that they do charge Geoffrey, so I don't see an alternative. Now, the boss's group of paladins does not charge Geoffrey, but I'm pretty confident that 7 halberdiers and 3 snipers is still enough to actually take out Geoffrey, so, you know, not really sure what my alternative here is, if there is indeed one. So I'm still not really back to where I was, but just look at this situation real quick, and it kind of is a better example than anything I could put into words. Just look at this. So Marcia is surrounded on basically all sides by no less than 10 units. Keep in mind I got pretty lucky this time, got a lot of lucky adepts, took out a lot more enemies than I honestly had any claim to, and there's still this many enemies that I have to contend with on the next turn. Look at this with Titania. Look at how many enemies are surrounding her right now. Look at how many enemies are surrounding this woman right now. This is ridiculous. This is absurd. And I can't one-round them. I can't one-round them unless I had a silver axe forge or a silver spear forge or something of that nature. A silver axe forge, though, realistically, so that I don't get destroyed by really all these axemen and whatnot. But this is too much. This is too much. It simply is. And you could say, well, you know, you don't have to do that. But the fact of the matter is, I do have to do that, because if I don't, then that just means I'm going to have to deal with these enemies later on somewhere else. Like, this initial group of halberdiers, they all move as one. They all move as one, so by the time I get into range, that means I have to deal with, at a bare minimum, of 7 to 8 of these guys in one turn, right? So if I'm not attacking a bunch of them on enemy phase, I'm not killing them on player phase, because they're simply too tanky at this point. So invariably, I end up in situations like this non-stop, and it doesn't have to be Titania, it doesn't have to be Marcia. I could very easily dumped a bunch of... What am I trying to say? I could have very easily dumped the same amount of experience and favoritism into any 2 units. It didn't have to be Titania, it didn't have to be Marcia. I could have done this with Oscar, I could have done this with Ike, I could have done it with this with Zehark, I could have done this with Mist if I was some kind of madman. But the reality of the situation is, this is what's gonna happen, no matter what you do. No matter what you do, because if you spread your experience among everybody, you can't deal with situations like this, you know what I mean? You can't deal with this many enemies at once if everybody is evenly leveled, or not even necessarily evenly leveled. If you don't strictly over-level some units, this situation right here would be unwinnable. You know, how could I ensure that everybody in range of this massive cluster of units can actually survive? You can't. The only solution is to have 1 unit, or 2 units in my case, that are so overpowered, so overbearing. There went my controller, by the way. I didn't have a stroke. I'm still playing. The only solution in my case, or in anybody's case as far as I can see, is to have a few units that are so overpowering that they can actually deal with this onslaught of units and actually hold their own for long enough to thin numbers to a more reasonable level to where the rest of your units can play cleanup. And honestly, I have to be completely honest, I'm not really impressed with that. I'm not really impressed with that at all. Of course, that's not to just crap on the game without leaving any room for any sort of rebuttal. If you have actual, honest-to-God grief with what I'm saying, actual grievances, and actual suggestions to how I can make this not happen, I would be more than happy to hear, because I really love the storyline of this game. This game is fantastic. Oh, see, Zarek doesn't even double this time. That sucks. See, that's almost kind of reasonable, though, because Zarek is underleveled for what it's worth. But in situations where my units should be what would be normally considered adequately leveled, right? Like Jill here is a level 5 Wyvern Lord. That's not too unrealistic. Oscar's about on par with these guys. He's level 9. They're level 10. And he's pathetic against these dudes. He's completely neutered in terms of usability if I'm not using him strictly to dodge tank. And that's a huge problem when there are this many enemies. That's a huge problem when there are this many enemies. And it's not as if I have neglected Oscar, right? He's been used since God knows how long. I really don't know. I really don't know. Let's look at Bastion, though, real quick, because he is going to be coming along, much to my pleasure, let's say. I like that. I actually like his model. Go figure. Only 14 experience. God, using him is going to be a chore. I can tell you this. I can tell you this for free. I guess Astrid can get a kill. Maybe. Oh, she only deals 10, which sucks. And another thing, I have to spend most of my time just skirting the enemy's ranges too, because the second I allow somebody who is not capable of dealing heavy damage to them in a single round into their ranges, right? I'm just making it that much harder for myself on the next turn. It's so much harder to deal with them if they're nearly topped off or completely topped off than it would be to pick off of a group of weakened units. Like this 11 HP guy, this 12 HP guy, no problem. But them at full HP, along with 7 other people who are checking these guys simultaneously, that's okay, I said we were PG, that was clearly a joke, because that is bullshit. It's bullshit that they designed it in such a way. It's not good design, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say it's not good design. Which is a shame because I love just about everything else about this game. And some of you guys, right at the beginning of this playthrough, you were like, oh man, Maniac Mode, you're not gonna like that. You're not gonna like it. And I hate to say it, but you guys were kinda right. I don't really care for a lot of the decisions they made with regards to this mode. I can honestly and truly say that I do not care for the majority of the decisions with regards to this mode. Now, some of the maps have been pretty good. Some of the maps have been very good, in fact. This one is not one of them. This one is most certainly not one of them. And you know, the worst part of this all is that it really just didn't have to be like this, you know? It didn't have to be like this at all. In the earlier game, I thought... Oh no, I did not leave the animations on. I did not leave the animations on. Oh god. Okay, that gives me plenty of time to express my thoughts, I suppose. It just didn't have to be like this. There were so many simple things they could have done to make this not nearly as obnoxious as it currently is. In the early game, you know, I thought that some of the enemy placement was a little bit excessive. Maybe the enemies were a little bit too powerful, but not too much. Right, it was something reasonable for a mode called Maniac Mode. In a mode called Maniac Mode, I do expect there to be more enemies. I do expect them to be more potent than they would otherwise be. I did notice right off the bat that they weren't necessarily a whole lot stronger, which would have been the preferred route in my case. Instead of adding a bunch of enemies, I would have preferred them to be threatening enemies. Speaking of which, I could have easily died there. Probably should have been paying attention to that. Goodbye, Killing Edge. Did it break? No. Huh. Well, anyways, if they would have just been threatening enemies as opposed to having numerous enemies, as in the enemies could have 3 had KO'd, maybe 4 had KO'd, that's a little generous, but you kind of see what I'm saying. If they would have just been stronger and not infinitely more annoying, that would have been my preferred method, okay? But just because you've increased the number of enemies and just because you've increased their durability, that doesn't automatically make it bad design. What makes it bad is that it falls into the genealogy trap where you're facing like 10 enemies at a time, bare minimum. Now, I know genealogy is actually worse in this regard, so it's not a one-to-one comparison. But the fact is you're facing large numbers of enemies that are all capable of taking multiple hits from your strongest fighters, and you're fighting them all at once. Ooh, Titania hits level 20. Hey, let's see what we get. Strength, please. She needs it. Oh my god. Not enough. 23 strength is not enough. which is pretty wild to be saying, but it's true. 23 strength barely negates the defense of these paladins. But I feel like if they would have just scaled it back in one aspect or another, this whole thing, double crit? My god, woman. My god, woman. You're distracting me. If they would have scaled it back in one aspect or another, this whole situation is remedied. If they would have left the beefiness of the enemies alone, but knocked off, I don't know, 3 units from every one of these waves, 3 or 4 units from every one of these waves, suddenly this is a lot more reasonable. And suddenly I'm not compelled to just use the best of the best. You know what I mean? If you take that the other way, you reduce the durability of these enemies, but you leave them alone numerically. Again, I'm not forced to just use the best of the best, because some of my lesser characters are actually capable of holding their own. Under certain situations anyways, I might not be able to be as free with, say, Stefan, as I am with a Titania or a Marcia, right? But I would be able to use them in more situations because they would be clearing out the vast number of enemies. And even if they were still not capable of clearing out the vast number of enemies, just by the fact that the enemies would be less beefy, I could get rid of more of them on player phase, which makes for a safer enemy phase, which means that I can move more quickly without using this one particular strategy. And that's what really drives home the point, right? It's supposed to be a strategy game, but the best strategy is something that you've been doing since Chapter 2. Use your strongest unit to bait in a large group of enemies, clean up what's left with your lesser characters so that they can maybe get some experience here and there. I say maybe because you see Titania's been doing this since Chapter 1, so it's very, very debatable as to whether or not they'll be able to accomplish that feat. But the one strategy I've been using has been this the entire game, right? With a few exceptions here and there, mostly related to movement things, like in Chapter 20, 21, 22, the one you fight Ina. That was a good example of a good map in my opinion, because it doesn't suffer from all these problems that the majority of the maps in this game do, I feel. The enemies weren't so numerous. They were still numerous, don't get me wrong. They definitely outnumbered the player, which is fine. Like I said, that's totally fine. That's a valid way to create difficulty, right? But they didn't come in waves of 50, 100,000, like 50 goddamn... There's so many! They didn't come in waves of so many. So I was able to use other units. I was able to use Stefan. I was able to use Zehark. I was able to use whoever, really. Braum, Ike, Oscar. Kieran did some things. You know, it's really a matter of finesse, I guess. Or a matter of context, I suppose. Because I don't really feel like there were that many fewer enemies. That's an odd sense, that many fewer. I don't feel like there were many few... That didn't really help. I don't feel as though there were fewer enemies on that map as there are compared to a map like this. There may have been. There probably were, in fact. But I don't really feel as though the point was lost. I still felt outnumbered, you know. But the positioning of the enemies and the design of the map lent itself so much better to creating an actual strategy that just simply sending Titania and Marcia into the middle of things might have worked. It might have still worked, but it would have been ultimately less satisfying, less effective, which is the big thing. It would have been less effective to do that in that case. And not only that, but I would have lost out on a lot of treasure, a lot of goodies, a lot of side things. Which, you know, side things are kind of hit or miss depending on, again, the context of them, because sometimes they can be a pain in the ass, but I feel like in that chapter with Ina, again, I can't remember the number off the top of my head, I apologize. I feel like in that particular chapter, it was handled well, and everything came together to make something that was playable, and not just playable, but fun, well designed, you know what I mean? This is just a crapshoot, honestly. Now, again, I'm not opposed to conflicting views with that. If somebody out there is like, well, if you would have simply done this, Deltre, you would have had such a better time on this map. It's so obvious. I can't believe you didn't see it. How could you miss such an obvious thing? I'm totally fine with that. If that's the case, you know, I can accept that. Hold on. I am Dickard. Your corpse will be the sustenance that feeds my hunger for fame. Yes, I will be the one! Yeah, okay. Lost my train of thought. Right. If somebody has a conflicting viewpoint that honestly and truly sort of disproves what I'm saying here, I'd be happy. I'd actually be happy. I would much prefer that. I'd much prefer to just suck at Fire Emblem rather than have an otherwise great game be kind of held back by shitty gameplay choices. Shitty design direction, I guess, would be a better choice of words. Because honestly, much like what some of you guys were warning right at the beginning, this last act is kind of falling a little bit flat for me. What was even the last map? Right, the last map I bolting cheesed because it was the smartest thing to do. This map, I'm just using Titania and Marcia because it's the smartest thing to do. I don't have anybody else that can stand up to these guys. That's just the reality. I do not have an alternative. Let's just get these villages, I guess. I can't believe I talked through that entire enemy phase. I'm not trying to shit on this game by any means, though. I still think that this is a fantastic Fire Emblem game, but I think that, at least in this case, what makes this one great is definitely the story. Definitely the characters. It has nothing... My enjoyment in this game has very little to do with the gameplay at this point. I'm going to be totally honest.